Welcome back to the kickoff. Arsenal have lost their Champions League final against PSG. We're going to get right into the big moments of the match before we even cover the overall game, because there's some controversy. There's complaining online. Mikel Arteta is not a happy camper. First of all, lads, we're going to talk about the Saka handball. Was that a penalty? Was that not a penalty?
100% a penalty. In the Champions League. In the Champions League. It's like he was playing basketball. I thought it was game 7 or something, bro. Like, I couldn't believe it. I thought really like playing for the championship. Was it like a multiple handball? I've never seen anything like it. So when I saw that in the box, and even Saka, like the touch he takes, he knew he'd done something wrong. Unless we're saying now handball just had to be intentional. I thought literally him miscontrolling it the way he does and it hitting his hands.
Can I clarify? Because for me, the Champions League, it feels like the rules are different in the Champions League compared to Premier League. Like in Premier League, intentional, it matters. Whereas I've seen countless times where, ironically, against PSG, when Newcastle played them, Livramento, the ball bounced up, he knew nothing about it, hit him on the arm, boom, penalty. We've gone from winning a game to drawing a game in the 90-odd minute. And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, well, he didn't mean to do it. I'm like, since when does that matter in the Champions League? Because I don't want this to be a penalty. I don't think he meant to handball it. But in the Champions League, it feels like the rules are different. What do you make of that, Jacob?
I'll be honest with you. I thought he was going to blow up for it. I thought, I'll say it's no pen because, in the Premier League, it's never a pen. But I think there was one a few rounds back that Ben White gives away where he's like falling, has his arm down to catch himself on the floor where he's falling. The ball hits his hand and it's like, it's in the most natural position you could think of, but they give it. I think KG's right. You can see by the way Saka comes away from that moment that he's thinking in his head, he's like, oh no. But I think basically the way the ref that game last night, I think he was scared to give moments in a final, basically. I'm going to talk about that with another incident in a minute. Okay. But
I've got another incident then. The penalty that was given to PSG, he did not give a second yellow card. Was the penalty the right call, and was the no yellow card the right call?
Apparently, they got rid of the FIFA changed the double jeopardy rule. So they said if they was going to send a man off, he doesn't. If they're gonna give a penalty, they don't need to go the extra mile and send him off. I didn't know that was. So that's actually a UEFA FIFA rule that I don't think we have in the Premier League, because we don't give a shit about double jeopardy in the Premier League.
Nah, right.
But then they said that's officially the rule. So I was like, fair enough. He's going to stay on, but they knew they were cruising for a bruising because Arteta took him off straight away after that.
Immediately.
Oh, yeah. I will say now, like, I didn't want Mosquera starting in this game. Mate, he played against Mansfield and nearly gave away a pen because he was defending outside on the edge of the box. Player comes into the box, he brings him down. That guy cannot handle Kvaratskhelia. And I swear on my life, I said to all my pals before the game, put your life savings on Mosquera giving away a penalty. He won't be able to handle him. And you can see as soon as Kvaratskhelia plays that 1-2, Mosquera's spun. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know whether to track the ball or the man. He goes to the man. As soon as that happens, he's going to give away a penalty. So yeah, I think it's a fair enough pen. But as KG says, the rules are they don't have to give a second yellow.
The Madueke penalty claim is really the big talking one, right? We got to address this. What do you reckon, lads?
Go on.
Josh, you got to say?
I think it was coming together. And I think it's one of those ones where it was so close. I can understand why it would be given either way, but I think the right decision was made. But I agree with Jacob. I feel like the referee didn't fancy this at all, and he didn't want to give the big decisions, and he wanted to see it being played. I think there was more in the Mosquera foul than the Madueke foul.
Oh yeah, look, hands up. It's one of them penalties, especially in the Premier League. If that was given against my team, I'd be raging. But here's where I think he has to give it. Every single 50-50, especially in that second half, he was blowing up. Every 50-50 against us, he was blowing up. For stuff that would never be a foul, he's blowing up. So if you're going to ref the game like that, then when they're coming together in the box like that happens, where Noni's in control of the ball, you have to give a penalty. I don't like those penalties. I don't think it should be a penalty. But if that's how you're going to ref the game, if you're going to blow up at everything, KG, I know you're laughing with your stupid beret on, it's a penalty.
Wow.
He's gone on Amazon. He's gone on Amazon and bought a beret. He's paid for speedy delivery so that he can do it. He can wear a beret on this call.
Oh, I've got a beret at home, mate.
Oh, no, you don't. Lying bastard.
The worst thing is that Jacob couldn't even get one if he tried.
We've never seen a beret before until they fucking play PSG and one just pops out of nowhere.
Misses. I've got another one in leather as well. You know what this is stylish.
Okay.
Anyway, let me say this. I fucking loved it. You know these pricks, no penalty all season, and they want to complain about refereeing decision. You know, I've heard Arsenal fans say, cry more. You can't do nothing about it. You can't take the Premier League away from us. And you know what I asked for? I said, please let it be a dubious decision. I want Arsenal to lose this game the same way West Ham, all these other teams have been pissed. Like, you see, holding arms? Oh, how poetic. Remember, they were holding arms all the time. And now Madueke has a cheek to almost do ring around the roses and take man down. No penalty. Hold that. Love it.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a penalty at all, mate. I was actually surprised at the level of like anger and controversy about it, because I was like, there's no trip. There's no pull. There's no action from the PSG player to make Madueke go down. He hooks arms with him and then throws himself to the floor.
Yeah, the only reason why it's controversial, Brian, is that that's the only way they're going to score a goal. Like, they needed a penalty.
I think that was the sad truth of it.
They were hunting it.
Yeah, I think that was the sad truth of it. Yeah. As in, like, I feel like Arsenal are so, and obviously there's skill in nicking games the way they do. I'm not denying that there's a level of skill to it, but I think that their luck ran out against PSG, and there was just too much that needed to go their way. And actually, you know, if we were to come away from some of these, there's a little bit more ref talk, and the fact that, like, he was calling out the time wasting. I think he was trying to general the game a bit, and I actually thought overall he handled the game quite well. I hear the point from Jacob. Obviously, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I wasn't looking at it the way he was. But I felt like the performance from Arsenal, it just left too much needing to go their way. And actually, PSG didn't really turn up in this game. They were so flat. And I couldn't help but feel, when we got to half time, lads, if you're ever going to win it, this is the fucking day you win it, because this team they're a shadow of themselves. You've got the early goal. So many dominoes fell for Arsenal. And actually, I had the feeling of when Newcastle won our cup, of like, when you're playing a top side and they don't turn up and you do, and everything just seems to go your way. That's when you start to believe more than ever. And
can I say this about that though? I don't think it was PSG didn't turn up. Arsenal always make everyone look like that. They were so resolute I'm being honest. They were resolute. They were seriously, they were set up perfectly in the first half. Now,
there's both, wasn't there?
In the second half, the game opened up a bit, and even the referee done a madness. There's one thing I think the referee done that was criminal. They had a corner, and the corner half time was disgusting. Like, they all
can't do that to Arsenal.
Never seen that before. And Arsenal blocked those corners. I loved it.
I loved it because I'm so sick of the time wasting. Arsenal are the worst time wasters in the league.
No, that was disgusting. They didn't even let the ball go in. They didn't even let them take the corner. I've never seen that in my life.
And for Arsenal, that's like us having a 2-on-2. That's like us having a 2-on-2, a breakaway, two attackers on two defenders. You can't blow up when we got a corner. We've been playing the whole game to get a corner. We barely got any corners in this game. But KG's right, man. Like, PSG look bad because we made them look bad, right? We frustrated them. We stopped that midfield playing through. Some of the last ditch defending was unbelievable. And it's so harsh on Big Gabby that he misses a pen at the end. Because I thought throughout the game, he was absolutely outstanding.
I want to talk about Odegaard. I don't disagree on the Arsenal definitely made PSG look bad. That's what they do. It's the one team who always play a great football, and even then they just look so shit against Arsenal. But I do think that some of their players did not deliver the standard of performance that I come to expect from them. And to be fair, I think Dembele always is shit. Like, the amount of, like, he scores some good goals here and there. I think he's one of the most overrated footballers in world football. Really?
This guy, like, the amount of shit games I watched him now, I'm like, another stinker. How many stinkers I watched this guy have? How did he win a Ballon d'Or? Do you know what I mean?
No, he was good. No, I'm telling you,
he was good that season.
He was good that season. But, like, I just think them lot when you talk about defenses, it's resolute. However, there was like Barcola missed a few chances that he should have put away.
Okay. Let's talk about Arsenal's approach to the game, because there's a lot of criticism online for this. The possession stats, 25% possession. They set the record. They broke their own record from 20 years ago for the worst possession in a game. And that was against, they had 10 men in that game. Obviously, they were robbed a bit. They completed just 69 passes in the first half, the lowest recorded. They had it was 19 shots to 5. So Arsenal in 120 minutes were averaging one shot every 25 minutes, and it was one shot in 2 hours of football on target. There's a lot of people, including João Neves, saying I saw only one team on the pitch trying to win the game, and that Arsenal's approach for a Champions League final was too negative. Now, there is the argument that if they'd gone a bit more expansive, they would have just been beaten a lot easier. But is that a fair criticism, and is this something we should label at the door of Mikel Arteta?
I'll give you a stat, Jacob. I'll give you a stat, right? How many attacking players did you sign in the summer just gone?
Noni, Gyökeres, Eze. Yeah, is there one more that I'm forgetting?
And there's one more, right? None of those players started the game.
So who's the one more?
You saw Eddie Howard's unbelievable.
So all of those players didn't start, right? 4 players didn't get on the pitch. So the recruitment is one thing to go on. And then and then you're discussing how are those players fitting in the pitch? Like, let's be honest, you've got a very solid defense. You've got a very solid midfield. That's clear to see for anyone. Where you're really lacking is up front. And we have to talk about Saka as well.
Oh God.
Like we have to talk about him. Because
this was that game, wasn't it? You know how we've been talking about Saka all season as a group. We have been on him, but this was that game where I feel like your reputation cannot sustain this level of damage to it anymore. Like
Noni played better.
The conversation of him being a world-class footballer is over now. In my opinion, I think Saka is a very good footballer. He's a good player, but he's not world-class, and he's never going to be world-class after this. I can't say it.
Can I say this? The Arteta played a part in this as well, though, because those defenders, Marquinhos and Pacho, they were nervous. When that ball came over the top, they weren't dealing with it. And I don't know why Arsenal didn't lump it forward a bit more. Even that goal that Havertz scores, there's a bit of a misunderstanding, and the ball kind of gets through. Havertz goes in, and it's fantastic. But there was more chances to when it became 1-1, I felt like Arsenal went for it a bit, and they looked like they were there for the taking, or they looked like they was defensively weak. Now, I don't understand why he never went for it. I don't understand when they were trying to win the league, and if it came down to goal difference, you saw a different Arsenal. You saw Arsenal. I said, you know what, machine for machine, I'm going to put Eze, I'm going to go Eze and Odegaard, or all these, like, a lot of more creative players. They literally said, forget that. We're getting back to no frills football, and maybe score one.
But he did bring on a lot of players. He did bring on players, but it was the plan that they had that was the problem. For me, anyway. Jacob, what do you say?
No, look, I mean, there's a few things there. In terms of the approach, I completely agree with you. We get that goal at the start because we're pressing high. Trossard is banging into challenges, and we're going forward. And it reminded me of the approach we took at the Etihad. We didn't win that game in the Etihad, but I loved our approach that day because we didn't just sit and say we're going to try and hold on to something. We chased after everything. We pressed, and that was what disappointed me the most in this game. It's like, hang on, you've shown you can score goals by just pressing that back line. Stay on them. Like, stay high. I agree with what you're saying about, like, if you're going to go long, don't just send Kai up on his own. Saka's got to chase in. Odegaard's got to chase in. They're not doing it. The Saka conversation, it breaks my heart because this kid has carried us on his back for 8 years. And I don't know whether his back's just broken. I don't know whether we've overplayed him.
He's tired.
He looks slow. He looks lethargic. He looks like he's not joining attacks. I mean, the goal that Havertz scores, let's be honest, it's an amazing finish. But Bukayo Saka should be making space for a cutback. He can't keep up with the play.
He was there.
But he's not available for the pass, KG, because he doesn't get away from his man. In terms of the subs that happen after they equalise, mate, I've got to be honest, hands up, as soon as he made those changes, I said we're not winning this game. Because we've watched all season that when you've got Noni, Gyökeres and Martinelli, it might feel like an aggressive and attacking front three. None of them can pass a fucking football. Like they literally cannot pass a ball.
That's so true.
You've taken off Odegaard, who's the only player in that front three in the front four that could pass the ball. we lose all control. The game just goes helter-skelter. As you say, Bradley Barkley gets a few chances. And it's like, well, now we're in a shootout, basically. Now it's like, we're going to get chances, maybe. I mean, when I say we get chances, we get a near penalty. That's it. Gyökeres doesn't have a chance. I think he made like 3 passes in the game. And they're going to get chances as well. And I think ultimately we kind of got lucky that Barkley doesn't finish one of those and it's done in normal time.
I think it's a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace. You talk about captains and what a captain's supposed to do. Bruno Fernandes gets a lot of shit for being a shit leader, this, that, and the other. Ødegaard being fit and not playing. Vitinha was dragged off that pitch. Like he didn't want to not play. The fact that Ødegaard's giving advice in the high vis, is a joke. What are you telling the players? You can't give no advice. Right now, you need to be on the pitch dying for the team. It's too many times I've seen him walk off the pitch, not be there. And how is this a captain?
That's on the manager page. He doesn't sub himself. He doesn't sub himself.
Then he shouldn't be the captain. He shouldn't be the captain because when you're looking for someone to lead you, to take you through it, I know in other clubs, I've seen captains to the end in playing, giving everything. And then Ødegaard is off on the sidelines doing what?
He was subbed off in the 65th minute as well. Like that, when you're playing you play for another hour after that. Like that.
I don't think we should have taken him off, but I hear you that like, He should, and he hasn't been at this level, but he should be at a level where you can't take him off the pitch. Unfortunately, he's not been there. The fact that Calafiori doesn't get on the pitch the entire game is a disgrace. The fact that it took so long to get Eze on the pitch is a disgrace. Like, I don't like the way, do you know the weird thing about that game? It felt like we scored too early.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, now we're just going to sit in our shell for 90 minutes. It's like, you can't do that. It's a Champions League final. You've got to play. You've got to try and take it to the bit more.
All I'm going to say, right, because we have to talk about Arteta's tactics as well, because the substitutions are one thing, but I think the way that the team set up is another. And let me just tell you this. The team that's just finished 10th in the Premier League went to a final with PSG and we outplayed them. Right? Chelsea went to the Club World Cup final. We outplayed PSG with a much weaker team and squad than Arsenal did. So there was obviously something that there's obviously...
Have you played them again since then?
Mate, just to let you know...
I feel like actually you've taken fairly recently, have you not?
Just to let you know, Jacob, you know that
I'm trying to remember.
You know that patch, Jacob, that you were going to get, the Champions League patch? We've got the Club World Cup badge for anher 3 years. Just so you know. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But what I'm saying is...
He's got some fucking brass
a manager... A manager...
Goal, you lost 5-2. What are you talking about?
Let's just go back, right? A manager that was looking at a Manchester City job, didn't even want to be at Chelsea, out-tacticked Luis Enrique in a final. So all I'm saying is, for all of the praise that Mikel Arteta gets, let's give him a 5-year contract. For all of that praise that he gets, he got the game plan wrong. You can't play the way you played. 25% possession, negative football. They were gettable.
It was a pre-season, Josh.
Is it glorified
on this, unless Jacob has anything. Are you okay, Jacob? Do you want to?
I'm not great. I've got a man in a beret talking about his captain who played about 30 games this season, how he would have. And then Josh has got the cheek to talk about, like, you just conceded 8 goals to them.
I feel like the overall takeaway when obviously me and my Geordie mates were sitting watching this in the pub, and that is like, Arsenal can... Oh, look, they're talking about a dynasty. They're talking about going back-to-back Premier Leagues. They're talking about building something here and making a lot out of this era that they're wanting to have. But until they sign elite level attacking footballers who are equal to the rest of the team, who can maintain that level throughout the side, A, they're not going to be remembered very fondly to watch, but like B, they're not going to be able to cut it in these kinds of games if you play a Barcelona next season who are going to be reinvigorated, Bayern Munich, PSG. You got to have a bit more in the tank. And I feel like instead of spending 250 million this summer on 5 players who may or may not come good, they need to kind of balls out this one and go, we're getting a couple of, just 2, you've got a massive squad. You just need 2 stars, a striker and a winger who are elite, who can take you to that next level. And instead of raising the floor, which Arteta's done a good job of overall, but now you got to raise that ceiling. In my opinion, that was what I came away feeling after this, Jacob.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's a cop out, isn't it? Because they've just won the Premier League. So to say that they don't have the quality to be able to score goals against PSG is a huge cop out. For me, it is a tactical thing, isn't it?
Look how they won it. They scored. When you look at attacking players, who could Arsenal put forward and say had a great season from an attacking standpoint? And then we could say maybe you could argue, well, maybe Gyökeres. But then in the final, they don't play Gyökeres. So there's stuff that they didn't believe Gyökeres was bringing for the biggest game of the season. They even left him at the Man City game. They went with Kai Havertz again. So it hasn't been, usually the big money signing or the guy that you bought in saying he's going to be the difference, I don't think they believe in him enough.
KG, my point is they played like an underdog when they were and they were the underdog. They weren't the bookies' favourite, but they shouldn't have been playing like that. They should have been going out there and going, we're going to impose ourselves in this game. We're going to bully PSG. We're going to control possession, and we're going to win. We're going to win the game rather than controlling it.
On that, I think there's a happy medium of yes, you are an underdog in terms of technical ability, but they play too much like an underdog. It looked like Man City Burnley, and it shouldn't have. It should have been far more competitive. Arsenal should have used their physicality more. Later in the game, when it looked like PSG physically were fading, I was looking at Arsenal thinking, physically, you look stronger here. There is an opportunity to bully them, and I don't think that they made the most of it. And I think Arteta not starting these players, the ones that he spent all this money on in the summer, it's criminal, really. That, you know, and Eddie Howe's been doing the same thing. It frustrates me. It's like, why did you spend all this money when you knew that they may or may not? Like, you've got to be more certain in the way you're spending money and moving forward at this level, in my opinion. We've got to move on to Arnie's slot, lads. And actually, by the end of this, we're going to talk about our Premier League predictions and what we thought of Mikel Arteta signings and who was going to get sacked first and who was going to finish where. That's quite fun. But Arnie's slot's been sacked. Obviously, the more we've moved away from the Jurgen Klopp football, the worse it's gotten. You know, the amount of defeats they've had this season, I think they've lost as many games as Sunderland. They just scraped Champions League football. And I think that my surprise is that they made this decision now after multiple managers are being snapped up. And I mean, Iraola is available. It looks like it's going to be him. But like the Alonso thing that seemed like a hand into a custom-made glove, you've been being a former Liverpool like legend. It's a weird time. I feel like they've dithered a lot on this. What do you say?
I would say this is probably the signs of a really poorly run club. And there's talks about the CEOs and people with 1 year left on their contract. So they don't know if they're still staying. And the fact that Xabi Alonso is not at Liverpool is a damn shame. You heard the fans singing that song, crying for Xabi Alonso while they had Slot. And the football that he plays, he can get the best out of Florian Wirtz. He can get the best out of Frimpong. The players that they have at the moment, he would actually raise the levels of those players. So it doesn't make sense in terms of the recruitment of what they have. I'm not going to get that manager. And he would have been given time. Why? He's a Liverpool legend. So the fact that Chelsea knew what time it was, Chelsea understood Liverpool might be moving soon at some point, and Chelsea rushed it. Got it done as fast as possible because they knew they couldn't have him waiting in the wing.
For Chelsea to be more organised than you speaks volumes.
But by all accounts, you know what, right? I'm actually not even giving Chelsea credit for this because they've stumbled into this. By all accounts, Liverpool weren't even really chasing Alonso. They weren't even really making the noises. Because let's be honest, if Alonso hears some noises, if they have a little flirt with Alonso, he's obviously going there. So there must have been something where he had no contact, or he had some contact, and they clearly said, we don't want to go ahead with you, because otherwise he would have done it. So I'm not giving Chelsea any credit on that. I honestly do think Liverpool have just dropped the ball, or they've.
I know you're angry at Blue.
Mate, I'm angry.
I think give them a little bit of credit because there's no way Chelsea rushed that one. It almost came like Chelsea, now we're making the movement. We need to go and get this guy, knowing that I think Glasner was waiting for the Liverpool job as well. The people that up there's a lot of quite good. Iraola, Glasner, and as soon as they said it's going to be Iraola, that was it.
Well, the interesting thing is that they share a representative, though, Iraola and Xabi Alonso. So they would have known the conversations that were going on between both parties. I have a feeling that Liverpool have put the feelers out and they've preferred Iraola. And therefore, that's where we've got our opportunities to get Alonso.
This is what I'm going to say here. I agree with you, by the way, that it's messy. And everything that Liverpool's done over the last couple of years in terms of like recruitment, it's messy. Like we said that last year. The whole Ekitike and Isak, they play similar positions on it. It's messy. I think they might have lucked out here because looking at Xabi Alonso, okay, did great things in Germany, took the step up to Madrid. It did not work. And let's have it right. Like a lot of managers would walk into that Madrid job and struggle with that dressing room. Honestly, boys, do you not think that Iraola, who's just taken Bournemouth into the Champions League, like
Europa League, yeah.
Sorry, into
almost Champions League. I mean, they were a few results away from it, yeah.
Like that's a level of Premier League pedigree that Xabi Alonso as a manager doesn't have. And if you look at the style of football, I know what you're saying, KG, that he's worked with Wirtz, he's worked with Frimpong. Iraola's style of football for me is as close as I've seen to helter-skelter Klopp football in the Premier League since Klopp. I think they might have lucked out on a better manager. Honestly, I think if you're looking at the two of them, Xabi Alonso never managed in the Premier League. You know, it's not a huge amount of experience. Iraola, who's been in the Premier League for a while and has achieved something massively overachieved with a club with no budget, lost so many players last summer, had no right to be anywhere near Europe.
It's a joke, yeah.
I think they've got the better manager out of this.
They've constantly progressed into Iraola as well. It was 12th, it was 9th, then 6th. And all the while, his squad is getting butchered left, right and centre. And he's having to pick players from here, there and everywhere to keep going. It's unbelievable what he's done.
But a manager going and doing the invincible in Germany, where it's been a farmer's like Bayern know what they're doing. It's Bayern, Dortmund. And for him to go and do what he did, plus the fact that he's got the European pedigree. We're talking about Michael Carrick not having, never managing Champions League. Neither's Iraola. It had the expectation of you must win this game. All those draws that he's had at Bournemouth, it's cool at Bournemouth. If Liverpool drawed, I don't know. I mean, I think he broke is the record like 10 or something stupid? Like he's broken the record of draws in the Premier League season.
Yeah, but you've got to cut your cloth to suit, haven't you? Like you can't. Well, here's the thing: Bournemouth going 18 games undefeated. You know they went the second half of the season undefeated. Yeah. Can you, really good. Like, let's wrap our mind around that. We've got people at Newcastle saying, be careful what you wish for. If you lose Eddie Howe, everything's going to go to shit. Well, Bournemouth lost Eddie Howe when he relegated them. And now they're in the fucking Europa League after spending a couple of quid and they're fucking outperforming us because of Iraola.
But just quick, that record is after losing their best player in January. They lost their best player in
their
January.
Full defence in the summer.
I mean, it's a tough one because I think
it happens.
Xabi Alonso's got the Liverpool DNA, right? He knows the club. And so naturally that maybe feels like a more natural fit. But we talk about players all the time. We go, if you're going to buy a player from Germany, it's a risk in terms of how they convert to the Premier League. Why would that not apply to a manager as well? Like, it's a hard one. If you're Liverpool's board, what do you trust more? Do you trust the fact that Iraola's done it in the Premier League, or do you trust that Xabi Alonso knows the club? I don't know. I
agree. Anna's got pedigree. He's won the league in a very difficult league to win, where it's just, the status quo of that league. So I don't understand. Like, if he wasn't a Liverpool guy like that, I would have wanted Xabi Alonso at our club. But he's so Liverpool, it just doesn't make sense. It's a quality manager. I worry about what Chelsea could look like with a manager like this and no midweek games.
I worry about Iraola in Champions League, though. I will say this because I watched the Semenyo interview where he said we don't get a day off. We train every fucking day. We play every day. And I'm like, I think he outperforms his obviously the talent level of his squad because they are so fit and they can play without fear and go man for man in the way that they approach that Arsenal game. I don't know if athletically they're going to be able to keep those levels up with multiple competitions, but I think it's an exciting appointment for the Premier League. And the thing I want to mention is what's so funny to me is in the local media in Newcastle, obviously. You know how it be, like they're fucking in the pocket of the club and they tell you Eddie Howe's the greatest thing since sliced bread because they want to keep him with the club. And they've said repeatedly, multiple journalists in the Northeast media, Eddie Howe should be kept as Newcastle manager because the big six clubs would love to have him. If he became available, and I quote, they would snap him up immediately. And what's so funny is Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, 5 of the big 6 clubs changed manager and Eddie Howe isn't even fucking linked. He's not even talked about. And these pricks are fucking selling this shit to the Northeast. And I'm like, you know what? This is great, this. Because his call didn't even ring once. His phone didn't even buzz. Shut the fuck up.
He's gonna get an England job. I'm telling you now.
Southgate got that. Anyone can get the England job. They hand it out.
I think it's going to happen. I think Tuchel's going to do something absolutely stupid, and Eddie Howe, they'll say, let's give it to an Englishman, and Eddie Howe will be the best person.
You know what?
To be fair, the signature that Thomas has just done, where he's got another 2 years, like that was a killer for Eddie. I bet Eddie was looking at that and going, oh, for fuck's sake, that was my opportunity to be England manager. Now he's going to have to wait 2 years. Tommy will 100% keep the job. He'll get another 2 years. He'll probably get the Euros and then leave.
Eddie might be okay for England though, because I don't know, he's a nice guy and they like nice guys. Okay, we do have to move on to the Premier League predictions we made at the start of the season.
Can anyone remember them?
I can't.
All right. The leagues, I think I said Chelsea or something.
We can see who got more right than others. We kind of you know how we waffle through things sometimes. So not everyone made like a distinct prediction for every single position in the league, but I'll give you what we got. First sacking, KG said Potter. Jacob said Keith Andrews. Josh said Parker at Burnley, and I said Amorim. Yeah, I think the answer was Amorim from memory. Was Amorim, wasn't it?
Before Potter?
Was he the first one? Potter must have been first. Well, no, because the Forest manager, Forest had the merry-go-round as well. It might have been the Forest manager.
I Googled it and it said Amorim, but I could be wrong.
Potter was sacked in September. Amorim got to Christmas.
Really fucking hell. All right.
Who said Potter? Did anyone say Potter?
No, KG.
KG got Potter.
Well
KG.
done.
That's good. I'm glad KG did get a point because I'm pretty sure it goes downhill from here. Premier League champions, KG predicted Chelsea.
Champions! That's the best thing I've heard all day.
I know. To be fair, I think you said Chelsea third, Josh. You were optimistic at that point, bless you. It was nice to see the smile on your face ahead of a new season when I watched this back. Jacob said Arsenal.
Well done.
I also said Arsenal.
Well done.
And Josh said Liverpool, and I quote, cakewalk.
Yeah. Well, obviously, no. Let me just set the record straight. Obviously, I'm not going to say Arsenal. They had just spent 400 million. So
sound like you really believed in them. Mate.
I did believe it. KG, I did believe it. That's the worst thing.
Top four, we pretty much all got this wrong because I think the general gist of it was Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool were the top four, which I think made sense at the time, to be fair. Jacob, you had a rogue prediction of Spurs to break into the top four.
That's the Arsenal fan as well.
But then, to be fair, we all said fifth and sixth. I think KJ and Josh said Spurs.
It was Thomas Frank.
Man United sixth, and Thomas Frank was a big reason for this. You all believed in him at the time. So ironic how little you lasted.
He was awful.
I said Man United would finish above Spurs, so I'm glad I got that right. KG then says, and this is a fucking awkward one for me watching it back, he went, if Newcastle finish below Sunderland, ... And I go, keep it in the real world. Yeah, keep it in the real world. And they fucking did. Fucking did. In the real world. That's how fucking...
No wonder he's so angry. No wonder he's so angry.
Just to even think that was... I didn't even think it was even... I didn't even believe it could even...
They're playing European football, Brian.
Mate.
It's not good.
Brian, to be fair, the stress. I mean, look, it's lost you a lot of weight this season, mate.
This is funny. You know what I mean? I can thank Eddie for that. Cheers, you fucker. Underachievers. We had KJ said Arsenal. The quote was, when are you lot actually going to do something? I did like that one. Josh said West Ham, and you said that they'd be in a relegation battle, so that was a pretty good shout.
Thank
from
God
Josh.
I got one right.
Jacob said Villa, although you did say Chelsea, you hovered over Chelsea, you went Villa because they're not signing enough players, which I think is just more credit to Villa being fucking unbelievable and how they cope with that.
Lied to me.
Because I think we all kind of expected Villa to drop out of the top six, and they really did well. Credit to Emery and a trophy. Yeah. 2 games a week didn't bother him. I put Newcastle as underachievers, so that was an interesting one.
You could see it.
I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was, though. Fucking hell, I thought 8. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. Flop of the season, KJ said Madueke. I think that's a fair shout. Looking at it.
Not bad.
Pretty much.
And he's flying to America. He's flying to America in a few
days. I know, right? Fuck me.
Over Cole Palmer and Morgan Gibbs-White and etc. Yeah.
That's a joke. Josh said Gyökeres or Garnacho.
I mean, both of them are right. Both of them are right.
You're not right.
No, I think Gyökeres did.
I don't think I'm right about
Garnacho?
Definitely did.
Madueke, he won the league. Like, what can I say? If they won the league, like he's not a flop in it. He's won the league.
I mean, Gyökeres comes in on a massive fee with people saying he's going to be really good. João Pedro outscored him.
What are you talking about? It was 50 million quid.
Well, sorry. He comes in and he's got a huge reputation and he's playing for Arsenal. Come on. I mean, that's a flop. He's flopped it, man.
I think
he didn't even start in the Champions League final, Jacob.
John,
you're really arguing this side.
I think he's shit. I think he's shit. But he's not a flop. Come on.
I think it's a complete flop.
Right.
Anyway, I'll take the Garnacho one anyway. He was fucking...
I've got to give Jacob credit. Jacob said Frimpong, which I think was a pretty solid shot.
That's the best. He's
a flop.
He's dog shit.
Yeah, flop.
That's easily the best one.
Impact signing. This is a funny one. KG names an impact signing who didn't even happen. It was Baleba for Man United.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Impact signing.
That's class.
I laughed at that.
The Oracle KG.
Yeah. Josh says,
sign him now.
I know, right? He's still not going to sign this. Fucking year on, it's still not happening. Josh said Reinders for Man City.
Oh, that was shit as well. That's awful.
He had a good start, but he massively dropped off. I don't know what happens with him now. I hope I have to see him with someone because he actually looked pretty good at times.
He did.
Yeah.
Jacob said Zubamendi, and you said he'll be the best 6 in the league.
He's not.
Mate, first few weeks, I mean, he just watched a teenager take his spot for the Champions League final.
Yeah,
but for the first few months, he was decent, Zubamendi.
I know. I said Gyökeres, ironically. We've just had that debate, so we don't need to go back over that. One to watch. This is the last one we did. KG said Jack Grealish. He said he'd be No, you're all right. Before he was injured, he was having a great season.
He got injured.
Yeah. And then you said Dogu.
He was.
Not quite, yeah.
Dogu looked good. Yeah, Dogu looked good.
Josh said Esteval, which I think is another fair one.
He looked good before he got injured, for sure.
Jacob said Max Dauman.
That's a great shout. Great shout.
Which I agreed with at the time. I said, I've seen him in a friendly, said he was good. And then my 2 I mentioned, one was Ekitike and one was Lewis Miley. So I think we did all right overall. I mean, I think we got the...
Miley. Did Lewis Miley ever like...
Miley had a great... Honestly, he was actually fantastic.
He actually did.
He was better than Tonali, no doubt about it.
He plays in multiple positions as well.
He was fucking unbelievable. Oh, you've seen that little video of me slating Tonali?
Of course he's better than Tonali. As soon as Tonali's about to wear the red of Man United, this guy just does... He's not...
I'm serious. I mean that. Miley's better than Tonali. Just to finish, I just wanted to get you a take on how, looking back now that we've looked at the way we thought it was going to go, the way it actually ended up for each of your clubs. I'm going to let Jacob start. Just a general feeling of how you reflect on this season. Jacob, you guys won a title. Personally, it's nice to know an Arsenal fan that I like, because it takes the sting out of it when I see a lot of the online. Do you know what I mean? So how did you feel about it?
Look, I'll be honest with you. It was fucking horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. I hated it. It was horrible. Every game was shit to watch.
That, your first title in 20 years.
I know.
Oh,
it was awful.
God.
It was stressful. It was anxious. It was tense. Every game, I thought we were going to drop points against Wolves every time we played them.
Oh, God.
It was pain. But I think all the pain meant that when it actually happened at the end, it was scenes. It was absolute scenes. And the last sort of 10 days or so, the celebrations of winning the league has been, I mean, look, there's a reason that Joey Knight is in some fucking PSG fan park by the looks of it, learning French and punching the air when we lose, because we've been unbearable. And we've got every right to be unbearable, because it's a long time coming for us. And so, look, did I enjoy this season? No, I think it's probably the worst season in terms of how I felt week by week. It's one of the worst seasons I've had in years.
Wow.
But it means the end of it was worth it. And it's unbelievable.
Do you think you're able to put the Champions League final defeat to one side and kind of look at it with just pure happiness and let that go and just be like, look, we got the Premier League title?
100%.
Or does this taint it in any way? Or?
No, mate, 100%. It's such a weird thing with us. I think if we'd have not won the Premier League, we'd have been talking about this manager's job, especially if we'd have not won the Champions League as well. And we'd have gone into that Champions League last night being like, he has to win. Otherwise, we don't even know what the future of this project is. The Premier League was the must win. The Champions League would have been the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. We don't get that. You can come again for a Champions League. It's whatever. I'm going to a parade in a minute. I'm going to be on the BBC. I'm going to struggle not to swear. And it's good times.
All right, we'll move on to Josh. Looking back at your Chelsea campaign, obviously you were hoping for third. Finished 10th. How are you feeling about? Because I feel like we were all quite optimistic about Chelsea. Jacob had his hesitation, so did I. But the point was, the general gist of it was the way they were moving. As a project, it felt like this project was going somewhere. It felt like under Maresca, there was a plan, there was a project, and that something would happen at some point with these young lads. I feel like the project has collapsed, and now I don't really know what Chelsea are anymore.
It's over. I mean, we've got Chelsea admins apologising for banter on Twitter. We've had the heart of the club ripped out. The guys running it are completely clueless. I think this season for me was the beginning of the end. I'm looking at AFC Wimbledon as a potential alternative. I'm pretty done. Do
you know what I think did that, Josh? Can I ask you the question?
And it's over, Brian. It's like,
I think the thing that I will remember the most about this season, other than my own feelings about my own club, and this is quite a wild thing to say, was the very, very brief stint as manager that your caretaker guy,
PE teacher.
What was his name?
Sorry, Callum McFarlane is the PE teacher's assistant.
What was his name? The guy who came in.
Callum McFarlane is his name.
No, David Brent, the one who did all the David.
Liam Rossini.
Liam Rossini, right?
Yeah.
God bless him. Don't even remember his name. It was that fast. But I have never known a manager come into a league and become a meme on such a scale so quickly. The respect the ball moment, the moment the referee's staring at the camera as all the Chelsea players are
managing.
The amount of the manage, all of these more, it's so wild. But that's the thing that I remember. I remember thinking week by week, like, fuck me, this is so funny, so mental. They've just plucked this guy out of nowhere and made him Chelsea manager.
Yeah.
It was the most mental thing.
He is the least qualified manager that's probably been in the Premier League.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it was insane to watch all of Maresca's work. He just took a hammer to the entire house and just knocked it down brick by brick. KJ, what do you remember about the season? The rebuild, maybe?
Well, for me, I learned something about myself that I'm prone to cults. I supported Amorim and I supported Ten Hag, which you lot told me a week in. I remember you lot telling me Ten Hag lost 7-0 to Liverpool. Why are you backing him? And I backed him. Amorim came in and said, we need to lose to get better. And I backed him. Like, it's insane. Now, this new manager in Michael Carrick, he's made, like, I forgot what losing feels like. You have to understand.
Wow. Clip that up. Clip that up for next season.
I forgot what losing feels like. I'll be honest, because we would just win games. And I'm used to losing. So this is the difference of sometimes you're like, I don't even know how to feel. Like, there's no complaints. There's no noise. And I think if Carrick gets some good players, I think that rivalry that we once had before with Arsenal might be back. We might need to hold the mantle.
You know what? I can't lie. As the way the Premier League has felt quite boring at times, seeing Man United and Arsenal reignite an old rivalry where they're actually competing with each other, it would be fucking entertaining. It's funny you should mention Ten Hag, because that really is how my season has felt in terms of like, connecting it back to Man United, there was a point where we played, I want to say 21 games, Man United, Newcastle, level on points, both on 32 points. When Carrick was appointed, that was. By the end of the season, the gap was like 22 points between us. The Michael Carrick's points per game was about 2.3 points per game, and Eddie Howe's wasn't quite even 1 point a game. It was our drop off. And it was funny because the thing Michael Carrick did, the basic thing he did was he played his best players in their best positions. It wasn't rocket science. It wasn't like he reinvented, the way Man United play, in my opinion. He put a formation out that worked, best players, best position. And Eddie Howe did the exact opposite. The system was shit. The lineups were ridiculous. Everyone was out of position. It was crazy. And now I'm looking at very much a Ten Hag situation. When I first started banging the drum about Ten Hag, I was well ahead of the curve. Yeah, it took multiple years. I said, this guy is the possession. You can't keep the ball. This is not going to last. All of your wins are against the curve of the way the games are going here. And that you can't carry on doing that. Newcastle are the same. Even though we finished 12th, we're actually worse than 12th. We actually are worse than 12th. And what we're doing, much like Manchester United, is when they did that with Ten Hag, you could see they didn't really know if they wanted to keep him. Just like the sounds that Newcastle's board have made when they're like, well, we're going to make a decision later, but we expect to have a good end of the season. We didn't have a good end of the season. We had 7 games without European football. We got 1 point a game. We were consistent with how shit we've been all season. And they just don't have the balls or the brains to go out and find a new manager. So what they're going to do is they're going to stick on Eddie. They're going to give Eddie even more money, just like Man United did to Ten Hag. And they're going to try and avoid to make the hard decision. And what they did when they did that Man United is they made that hard decision even harder only a few months into the season. And I'm looking at Newcastle right now going, you're bottling it now. It's going to cost you later on because you're going to give them even more money. And what Ten Hag did was he saddled the next manager with a bunch of fucking players that he didn't want. And that's what Eddie Howe's about to do for our next manager. So I feel like history is repeating itself, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry,
this season's been dark for you, Brian. This has been a dark season.
Horrible. I'm quite hated by a lot of Newcastle fans for a lot of what I've said, like calling out Eddie Howe in the way, and I think because for them, if you love Eddie Howe and you think, because what they do, right, is they compare Eddie Howe to Steve Bruce, all of the other shit managers that we had, right? And they look and they go, well, Steve Bruce didn't do this and Eddie Howe did this. So therefore, Eddie Howe's a god. And it's like, yeah, but here's the sad truth of it. Steve Bruce in his last full season as Newcastle manager, he lost 17 games and finished 12th. Eddie Howe lost 17 games this season and finished 12th. The difference being Eddie Howe spent 700 fucking million to give us that same level. And when you talk about the cups and the Champions League, you can't compare what Eddie Howe's done to the other managers and say, oh, well, Eddie Howe's this great guy.
But not European
You're not taking into account the money he spent. The money he spent is insane.
You're going to be it's the style of your football. It's just so, the energy in it is ridiculous. But when you lot now there's no European football, you lot will have a great season again. It
doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter because I know where this goes. I know even if we get back into Europa League or Champions League, when we get 2 games a week and Eddie's energetic football is all he's got to fucking get his wins on, the legs get tired and the players can't maintain those levels because there's no technical football. There's no possession-based football. So I've already seen the end of this because we keep repeating it. Like Aston Villa, they get in the Champions League, they get the quarterfinals, then they still manage to get European football the next season. They stay in Europe, and they keep delivering 2 games a week. And even when we're spending, without going into a whole nother rant, 10 times what Aston Villa have spent, we're still fucking around like a yo-yo club. So this is the sad thing about next season is I feel like there's no hope. And I think that's where me and Josh can sort of bond a little bit right now. There's no hope. There's no hope, lad.
We've got to fucking ride it out, Brian. We're in it together because we have got a painful few years coming up. I'll tell you that for sure.
Oh, mate.
I'll tell you that for sure.
Until I die. And
all I'm going to say is I'm going to buy a beret I need to get that beret ASAP.
I hope that beret, I'll PSG bury Man United next season, you fucker. I've got, you know what, we've always said this thing in Newcastle, we say you've never seen a Macklem in Milan. Well, AC Milan are in the Europa League next season and fucking so Sunderland. We might actually say that shit. Nightmare. Anyway, love the chat, boys. We've got plenty more content coming on the kickoff because the World Cup is about to pick up and there are lots of fucking amazing games we're going to be covering. I'm actually really excited. This is the most excited I've been for an international tournament in a long time, boys.
Some good teams.
I think it's going to be mental. Don't forget to subscribe, watch all of the lads' channels, hit the like button. We'll see you on the next one.